Conspiracy Station. Investor Schooling Live with Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhaus on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Good morning and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Coming to you from Investor Schooling headquarters. I'm Phil Falcone here with my business partner, Larry Steinhaus. We are the founders of Investor Schooling. Get ready to learn real estate investing and stock option trading. Call us anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. That's right. We're a live program, so you can call us anytime during the show, and we will take your calls. Don't worry about what we're talking about. You know, you can always give us a call. We love to take our listeners' calls. Investor Schooling is located in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, serving the Philadelphia area in a real brick-and-mortar building. We are local guys, accessible to our students a minimum of 2 nights per week. Learn this business, and that's the business of real estate investing and stock option trading from people who live it every day. So if you're wondering when we're on the air, we are going to be on the air now at Saturday at 10 a.m. until how long, Larry?
I think to the end of March.
Yeah, okay.
But who knows?
Yeah. Well, I like the sound of that, end of March. All right? So we're going to be on at 10 a.m. until the end of March. Then what will happen, we don't know. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of real estate concepts, some good markets to invest in. Does it make more sense to buy cheaper properties or more expensive ones? We're going to talk about making 2022 the best year ever. We're also going to end our show with some stock option Sultan picks of the week. What's up, Larry?
What's going on, man? How are you feeling?
Pretty terrible today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We had to make Phil walk down the stairs today to come to the studio, but he's a trooper, man. So that's pretty awesome. I'm glad you made it, man. I know it's tough. I know you've been in pain. I know you were in pain last night when we went out to dinner too. So everybody out there, if you want to call and wish Phil, a speedy recovery. He had knee surgery on only one knee. You're gonna have the other one soon, aren't you?
Yeah, like early May.
Yeah. So if you guys want to do that, everybody says I should be playing basketball, and this is the reason I don't. Because Phil likes to play basketball, and now he has to have 2 new knees put in.
Not anymore. I'm a tennis player.
Now you're a tennis player?
Yeah.
So is that going to be tough on your knees?
It's not as tough, no.
Okay.
Because I'm going to only play doubles.
Okay.
2 guys on each side.
So you could say, hey, my knee hurts, take that
Right.
ball?
Like, I'm not saying I'm incapable of playing singles, but I really don't like the game of singles. I'm more apt to playing doubles.
All right. Well, we got a couple of people online saying feel better. You got Sammy online saying feel better. So thanks, Sammy. I'm sure Phil appreciates that.
Thanks, Sammy.
Did you appreciate that?
Very much so.
So I was right then.
See, Sammy's comment just makes me feel better already.
All
with
right.
the 3 exclamation points.
There you go. Yeah, so if you guys are online, if you're on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, you can leave comments as well. Of course, Tommy's watching and Jose's watching. Thank you so much. I totally appreciate it. And you guys on WWDB, wrong station, WPHT. If you guys are listening on PHT, feel free to call us at 855-939-1137. And, of course, you guys online can call us as well at 855-939-1137. We're so glad you're here, and we will answer your questions about anything that has to do with money, real estate, and or stock options. All right, Phil, what else we got today? We got what are cool topics we got today?
Well, why don't we start talking about what a lot of investors do that I think is a mistake. I think investors sometimes they kind of wait for something to come their way. Like they wait until they drive past a house that's really wasted, for example.
Okay.
Right? And then they think, maybe I should buy that. Instead, what they should be doing is things like taking the initiative, going out and making it happen by driving around at least in the area that you live in. Go drive around for a couple of hours and look for properties that have tall grass out front, or right after a snowstorm and nobody's shoveling the driveway, or houses that have blue tarps on the roof, or houses that have piles of newspapers out front, or grass that's not been cut, or lawns that have parked cars on the lawn. These are all signs of people who have probably given up on their particular house.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I like it. Now, I'm a lazy investor. You know me, I don't even bother doing that. Although if I happen to drive by a house that looks like that, I'm definitely going to take note of it. But I'm a lazy investor. I like to just mail. So I'll send out, whatever, 1,000 pieces of mail a week, 1,000 pieces of mail a month, whatever it is that I'm doing that month, and just wait for the phone calls to come in. That's what I do.
Well, I don't know that makes you lazy. That's a very smart way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I recently met this young guy. He's 20, and he, money is real tight for
Sure.
him. Okay, so I said, well, he just wanted to meet me, and he had driven by the I Buy Houses store, and he just called me. So I decided to have a meeting with him, just talk to him. I was thinking of converting, seeing if he wanted to come to investor schooling, but we're not dealing with anything there. So
Yeah, it's always nice. So just in case you're listening, I always invite everybody anyway.
Yeah, well,
have them come to a free class and let them learn something.
So do I, but in this case, I gave him a little assignment and had him going out and doing some driving for dollars.
That's great.
Yeah, get him right. He's anxious to get into it, and I said, well, I'll give you a little assignment, and let's see what you can do. So
has he reported back to you?
yes,
And what's he doing?
3.
3 deals?
He
Or 3
found-
houses?
I wouldn't say there are 3 deals. There are 3 houses that he's identified.
That's awesome.
So, not bad for his first day.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's great. And I guess he could partner with you and you could help him with it. That would be great.
Yeah, I'll get him in here.
That's awesome, man. All right, if you guys have any questions, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137, and feel free to call us about anything that has to do with money, real estate, or even the topic we're talking about, or any other topic. That'd be great.
Well, let's stay on this topic for
Sure.
a while. So tell me, you're saying you're a lazy investor, but it's not lazy at all. It's just, tell us about the cost that you incur when you're doing a drop, and what programs do you use to buy the list, and what companies do you use to send out the postcards, for example?
Actually, that's a really great question. So I was using a couple of different things, and I've narrowed it down to 2 list companies that I use now. One happens to be ListSource. There's a company called ListSource.
Yep.
And the other one I use, and I actually started using them for mailings, which is Mailbox Power. And by the way, it's some weird affiliate company, whatever. I don't really care. But the only way to if you go to mailboxpower.com, the only way to get it is you have to put in a affiliate code, like somebody who introduced you. You should put it in. I think it's investors or investor. I can't remember. But put in investors, and you'll be able to sign up for it. And it's $50 a month. It's nothing. But then you're paying for postage and the cards. So I actually can set up automatic campaigns in there, which is great. So if I find a list, let's say of 1,000 people, I could set up a campaign to send them 6 different letters or 10 different letters. It doesn't even matter. Letters and or postcards. And you can also create the postcards in there. They have templates already.
You're talking about Mailbox Power?
Mailbox Power, yeah, it's fantastic.
So ListSource is where you just buy the addresses.
Right,
Okay, so you go in there, you buy the addresses.
right. And you can actually narrow it down to certain types of people. You can narrow it down to people who have
Yeah.
FHA mortgages or regular mortgages, people who have high equity homes, people who have low equity homes. Now, you could do that inside Mailbox Power, too. They give you a free list building service that you also have to pay for the list, but it's just not as robust as the ones I find on ListSource.
Okay, so you like ListSource to buy the list.
Correct.
And then where do Mailbox Power provides you the postcards or allows you to design a postcard?
Yeah, you design the postcards on Mailbox Power, or you could upload letters. That you could actually write the letter in Microsoft Word, upload the letter, and it'll automatically merge your list into those letters. So we've been doing that for a while. That's actually it's actually very effective. And again, like I said, you could create campaigns. So you could have a letter, then a postcard, then a letter, then a postcard. So maybe you want to send it every month. You send maybe a letter, then a month later a postcard, then a letter, and you could do that. You could also send a series of campaigns. Hey, you've seen maybe one that says, hey, you've seen my letters before. I noticed you didn't call. Why don't you give me a call? Or something like that. Anything like that.
So you're not really using PropStream.
So PropStream also. So PropStream is another thing that we also do. By the way, if you want to use PropStream is great for comps and great to look up properties, great to look up owners of where they are. So if you have a specific property you want to find, you can go on PropStream and you can find the owner of that specific property, even if you don't have MLS access. So PropStream has very limited mailing capacity. They have just a couple of postcards and a couple of ways to mail. So I like the mailbox power better. So you can actually, if you want to, you can even go to PropStream and download a list from there too. But the same thing with PropStream is it's limited. The list source is much better than the PropStream list building. So yeah, you want to use multiple tools, but the nice thing about PropStream, again, give me 1 second. The nice thing about PropStream again is the fact that you can look up owners, you can look up specific houses, you can look up the history of the houses, and so that makes it a lot better. But matter of fact, if you want PropStream, go to PropStream7daysfree.com and you can check it out. It's PropStream7daysfree.com.
Right. So, where do you do your skip searching?
So I don't even bother. So I actually use Intellius to do skip searching. So every once in a while, so skip searching, just so you guys don't know what that is. If you have let's say a piece of mail came back and it said the owner doesn't live here anymore, or that's not the owner, or whatever it is, and you want to find out specifically, you really wanted to buy that property, you really wanted to find out who the owner was of that property, you can go to what's called, skip search companies. I use a company called Intellius. And you can actually put in the guy's name, the address, whatever, and you could find out a whole bunch of information on the person, on either an address or a person. So sometimes I may even use Intellius for if I'm renting to people, and I'm not sure if they gave me some they gave me some bad vibe, and I just want to check on them. So you can go to Intellius and you can find out a lot about the person. You can find out where they lived. You can find out what their phone number is. You can find out what their email is, and sometimes what their social media is. So it's kind of another tool. So there's multiple tools that I'm using, as an investor. Again, we talked about PropStream, we talked about Mailbox Power, we talked about what was the last one we just Intellius. Mm-hmm. So these are all tools that I use, and as an investor, you probably should know these tools. There's another tool I use in Pennsylvania to check on my tenants. So if I have somebody who comes to me now, I've said this before. I don't do credit checks on my tenants, which is bizarre.
Well, you should think about doing that because the industry's really changed in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it still works for me though, the way I do it.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying that you really might want to consider that. So the way there's a app out there called Rent Spree, all right, and that's just one of many that are popping up these days, and one of the things that they do, it's really cool. Okay, so you simply create a link and you get someone calls you up and says, I'm interested in renting your house. You get their name, you get their phone number, you get their email address, so you have that info. And then you send them a link to Rent Spree. They go on to Rent Spree, they pay $50 to fill out an application. The application does an automatic credit search, an automatic criminal background check, and an automatic eviction report.
That's great.
Right?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's
great.
awesome. And you don't even pay for it. It's free to the landlords.
Right.
The landlords just drive their applicants to Rent Spree.
So do you do that before they apply, or in other words, do you meet them
that is
first?
the application.
So in other words, I'm sorry, before they see the property, or do you do it when they see the property?
That's a good question. We're doing it for a mobile home park in Florida.
Yeah, right. That makes a lot of sense.
So they most likely call me because we have a sign out front that says the Tropical Isles, which is what we call the park. And the Tropical Isles, people just call me. My phone number is on that sign. People call me. As soon as they call me, I just get their name, their phone number, and their email address, and then I forward it to John. John sends them a link to this Rent Spree app. And by the way, Apartments.com does the same thing. Apartments.com also has an app, and there are others. There are many others coming out now. So there's like an all-inclusive, free to the landlord method of checking everybody out. And
yeah, actually, I might check that out now. So for some of you who know, I actually have a conversation with the tenant, and I can figure it out by asking them questions like, "What's your credit score?" Now, you got to be careful. You got to make sure that they're honest, and I know how to read people, and I know that they're for the most part, they're being honest. I also asked them a couple other questions, which makes that work as well. But the other thing that another app, and this is a great conversation, this is a fantastic conversation about the apps that an investor should use. Here's a free one. If you're in Pennsylvania, it's called PAE Docket.
Yeah, I've been on there.
Yeah, and PAE Docket is an app that you can put on your phone, and just look up PAE Docket on the Apple Store or the App Store, and you can excuse me, and you can actually run checks for your tenants. You'll also see their history in court, which is really nice too. So you could see if they had a landlord tenant problem. You could see if they, look, maybe the guy's got 6 drunk driving arrests. Maybe you want him, maybe you don't want him. This is kind of
Right.
Their credit's good, but you may think that there may be an issue later. So these are all things, and you want to talk to your tenants about it before you rent to them.
Well, that's exactly why you want to. That's why I like these apps because, so you can see their whole criminal background history. And for example, let's just say maybe the guy's got a couple of assault charges against him. Maybe he's a wife beater or something. You don't want that guy in your mobile home park.
Oh, definitely not in your
right?
mobile home park.
Right?
Yeah, but,
you don't want
right.
any drug charges. You don't want any of that stuff. If
Sure.
I see that they've been evicted at any given time, I'm done. I don't need to know anything else.
Yeah, I agree. I
If
totally
you've been
agree.
evicted once, you'll be evicted again. Forget it. See you later. Okay.
I had one about 4 or 5 years ago. Guy came to me, and sure enough, I look at PAE Docket. He owed his old landlord $8,000, according to this thing, right? And I said to the guy on the phone, I said, look, there's no way I can rent to you. He goes, well, what if my parents signed the lease? I said, look, I'm going to be at the building. You bring your parents, and I'm going to talk to them. So I sat there, and I talked to the parents, and I said, listen, do you really want to sign as a co-signer for your son? I said, look, I said to the guy, do you own a house? He goes, yes. I want you to understand one thing. If he does not pay his rent, I get your house. Are you okay with that?
How are you going to get their house?
Well, I just wanted him to, to think. 'Cause you're right. I'm not going to get his house, but I'm going to sue him, and I'm going to sue that guy. I'm not suing the kid. I'm suing it because I already know that the son's not going to pay. I already know the son's a problem.
Well, if you were in a situation where you actually got, say it was a 25-year-old guy, plus his parents all went on the lease,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's almost no chance that you're not going to get paid.
Well, you're right. There's most likely not. So I wanted to make sure that they understood that they were going to be sued, and I wanted to make sure that they understand that if he doesn't pay, they are in trouble. And
Right,
they
but
never got back to
how
me.
would you enforce that if they didn't? Because you can't. You don't really have the ability to put a blemish on their credit report.
Of course I do.
How?
I get a judgment against them.
I don't know that does that. No, it doesn't.
Absolutely. So if they're a tenant, I could sue them. And now, first
A judgment could show up on the internet for sure, but somebody would have to specifically be looking for that.
No. Actually, there's 3 steps, and most landlords don't take the 3rd step, and that's why. So the first step is you're actually suing for the rent. So let's say they don't pay your rent. You're actually suing for back rent. You're not suing for eviction yet. You're suing for rent not paid. Then, if they don't pay their rent in a certain amount of time, sometimes it's 5 days, sometimes it's 10 days, you then go back to court for eviction, right? Then they have 5 days to pay the rent from there, and if they don't, then the constable knocks on the door and takes it, and says, get out. Okay, but the 3rd step that most landlords don't do is they don't file a judgment against the tenant to get the money. Now, look, most of the time, I don't care. I just want the tenant out of my life because he hasn't been paying the rent, and I just want to get somebody else in there. They owe me $1,000. They owe me $1,500. I don't care. Just get away
I
from me.
understand.
I don't
It doesn't help you any
Right.
if he has a judgment against him.
Right. So if I really don't like the guy, I put a judgment against him. Now that guy's going to have this $1,500 judgment against him until he pays it. Now 2 things can happen. One is nobody cares, and I never get my $1,500. Or maybe this guy gets his life back together, and then he all of a sudden wants to go buy a house. And the mortgage company says, you can't buy a house because you have this judgment against you. You need to take care of that. And then all of a sudden I get a phone call. Mr. Steinhaus, I'm so sorry I didn't pay my rent 10 years ago. Actually, it's
funny
only
you
7
bring
years
that
judgment,
up.
But
So Terry and I were just talking about this the other day. She recently had a tenant who owed her thousands of dollars, and he finally squared up with her.
he had to.
And she and keep in mind that between her and I, Executech alone has 47 offices, plus there's people with mailboxes and answering services and conference room rentals. And then all of the houses and stuff and the mobile home parks and things that I'm involved in, it's over 100 people, right?
Right, sure.
Easy, over 100 people. And in all the years, there's only been one woman who said to me, I promise I'll pay you. And she paid me back the money that she owed me, which was like $2,500 or something, 2 years after she said that. But she did pay me. And Terry's like, geez, that's how we were talking about that. I said, yeah, I've had one person do it for me who actually squared up with me a couple of years later.
Right.
And she's like, oh, I forgot to tell you that one of our tenants from Executech just squared up with me.
That's great.
And she's only had that happen once, too.
Right. And the only time it's going to happen is when they have a blemish on their credit and they need their credit fixed, and that's the only way they can do it. Hey, there's somebody who's actually asking us. They actually asked me specifically, but you and I have the same answer to this. How many properties do you own, Phil? And it's the same answer that you and I give all the time to everybody.
Well, I give a slightly different answer, but the truth is that I have no properties that are in my name.
That's true too.
So
Right.
if you search the world's internet, high and low, you won't find my name on anything. Okay? So we buy properties in trust, and we create entities for each and every property that we own. So essentially the answer to that question is we don't own anything because the trust owns them.
And in case that's not the question they're asking, which is how many we control, we never answer that question. And I'll tell you why we never answer that question. So first of all, my answer to that question is enough properties that I never have to work again, and I'm sure that's the same with you, Phil. Actually, you probably own more than I do, so you probably don't have to work again twice.
But it's the same situation for
exactly.
both of us.
Right.
And frankly, people will often ask you that. How many properties do you own? And say I was in front of an audience doing a speech on real estate, and this has happened to me.
Sure.
People have raised their hand and said, how many properties do you own? And I said, well, I don't know who you are, sir, but let me just say this. I go to great lengths to make sure that nobody knows how many properties I own. Because why would I want to advertise that information? Would it fuel your ego? Yeah, okay, maybe. But what's more important is that you don't need, there's no purpose in setting yourself up as a mark. If somebody knew that you owned, for example, 50 properties, by definition, you're easily a multi-millionaire, and maybe even a decamillionaire, which means you have over $10 million. And that's not something that, if you're going to go around and brag about that, I don't think it serves you well. I think what you should do is just be a smart investor, make good business deals, be happy that you're successful and setting yourself up financially for the rest of your life, and that should be enough.
Yeah, I agree. And so I tell people it's enough properties I never have to work again. And the other thing that comes to this too, especially in the business that we're in, sometimes people are like, oh, he'll say 60, he'll say 100, and there's two things that may be a problem with that. One is the person who we're talking to may say, oh, well, you own 100 properties. I can never compete with that. I can never learn from you because you own 100 properties, which is actually incorrect. And on the other side, let's say I own 20, right? And they say, well, you only own 20 properties. How good of an investor can you possibly be?
Nothing good comes from that conversation.
Yeah. So the answer to the question is always a problem. So instead of making it a problem,
right,
why don't you learn how to buy enough properties that you never have to work again, like Phil and I? And then you can say, well, why are you here doing this? Honestly, because we love this. I mean, we're here on a Saturday morning. Phil's here. He had to hobble down the stairs to get into the studio because he loves to be on this show. He loves to talk to you guys. By the way, if you guys want to talk to us, 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137 if you want to ask us questions about the stock market, about properties, about what we do, about this conversation, or anything else that has to do with money. 855-939-1137. Hey, you want to take a break, Phil?
Sure.
Hey, let's take a break, guys. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from InvestorSchooling.com. I'm I'm inviting you to a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 p.m. I will teach you how to buy ugly houses and make them beautiful. As a bonus, we will also teach you stock option investing. 7 p.m. this Thursday night, 215-876-3002, investorschooling.com.
Hey everybody, it's Larry Sinus from InvestorSchooling.com. You heard my partner Phil Falcone tell you why you should be there this Thursday night to learn about real estate investing and learn about stock options trading. We're telling you right now you will make more money than you've ever made in your entire life if you learn these two skills. This Thursday night at 7 o'clock, go to InvestorSchooling.com. Pull over right now, take out your phone and go to InvestorSchooling.com. RSVP right now, InvestorSchooling.com. See you Thursday.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from Executech Suites. We're an executive suite center in Huntington Valley on Buck Road, 67 Buck Road, Huntington Valley. I'm sure you've driven past it. We're right in between Street Road and County Line Road. We have 47 offices in the prestigious address of Huntington Valley. I have offices starting at $595 a month. You're probably wondering, Phil, what do I get for $595 a month? Let me tell you. You get an office big enough for one person. You get the furniture in that office. You get the telephone on the desk. You get the telephone numbers. You get the fax numbers. You get 2 full-time receptionists to answer the phone in the name of your company and patch the calls to you. So if your company's ABC Painting Company, hey, ABC Painting Company, how can I help you? Would you like to talk to Bob? Let me get him on the phone. You could be home sleeping on your couch and I'll patch the calls right to you. What else do we give you? We give you the conference rooms. We give you the kitchen. We give you the mailboxes, the printer, the copier, the scanner, UPS service, you name it. All of the utilities, cleaning service, and best of all, we give you free coffee. Get yourself to Executech Suites. Phone number is 215-942-7701. 215-942-7701. ExecutechSuites.com.
Hey, it's Larry Sinus from InvestorSchooling.com. Hey, listen, one of the things we teach at Investor Schooling is stock options. Did you know that you can make 50, 100, 150% returns every year trading stock options? Yes, I know there's risk, but I'm going to tell you right now that some of the things we teach will help you mitigate that risk. Could you imagine when you look at your return and it shows 100% returns? You will be really happy. Come to a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. You can RSVP at InvestorSchooling.com. Our headquarters are in Langhorne, and you will learn stock options trading. Of course, you will also learn real estate investing. Come to InvestorSchooling.com. We will see you there Thursday night. All right, welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. I am Larry Steinhaus. I'm here with my business partner, Phil Falcone. And we are talking about real estate. We are talking about stock options. We are talking about making money. We are talking about entrepreneurship. We are talking about anything you want to talk to us about, and by calling 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. I don't think anybody's up this morning, Phil. Usually we got calls by now.
Well, let's just keep talking and see what else comes out of our mouths.
All right. So I noticed Executech Suites, was in the prestigious Huntington Valley. Mm-hmm. Huntington Valley. Is that really prestigious?
There are some really amazing properties there. So,
yeah?
I mean, I didn't even know it. Like, Terry was the first to tell me about it because she would go out walking in the summertime, like just to get out of the office for half an hour. She'd go out walking. And she started finding all these mansions. There's serious mansions there.
Really?
Man. Really, they're kind of tucked away in little pockets, and you got to know where they are. But right around that area where you have Byberry Road and I guess 2nd Street Pike.
Sure.
Byberry and 2nd Street Pike. There's some homes back there that are just amazing. Like,
do you ever drive around and see if they have high grass?
Yeah, right. It's interesting you bring that up, okay? Because one of the topics is the cheaper the property, the better the rate of return on that property.
Well, hold on a second. We got Mike on the line. What's going on, Mike? How can we make your day today?
Hi, I just heard you guys talking about owning properties in a trust, and I purchased recently a commercial property, that but I did it in my own personal name. Now my question is, can I now transfer or sell it over to a trust? I'm not sure.
All right, so here's the answer to the question. The answer is because you put it in your name, you can put it in a trust easier than if you wanted to put it into an LLC. Is this a big property or is it a small property? You know, like money wise, less than $1 million, or
it's actually a flat piece of land that brings in really great income because people park commercial trucks and cars. It's like a truck car lot.
What is it, Canada?
You know. No, it's right here in Cinnaminson, New Jersey.
I was joking. I don't know if anybody got that joke, but I enjoyed that joke. All right. Anyway,
I didn't get it.
Yeah, right. So you.
But it brings in like $5,000 positive income a month.
Wow, that's fantastic.
You know, so
that's fantastic. Well,
it really is.
Yeah, you can put it into a trust. You're probably better off coming to investor schooling and learning a little bit about trusts. But the nice thing about a trust, probably the best thing about a trust, I got to tell you, is the fact that the trust creates anonymity, so no one knows who you are. They don't know if you own the property or not, and that might be good, especially if you have something like that where, you know, there might be an issue on the property, and it makes it difficult for them to find out who owns it. The other thing too is, you know, you can transfer to your heirs easier from a trust than you can if it was in your own name. So there are substantial benefits to being in a trust. And we go over them quite often.
So when somebody looks up, if somebody looks up who owns the property, do you have to make a name for the trust?
Yeah. So,
or something?
So it's funny. Phil and I, we talk about this all the time. So if I was going to buy a property 123 Main Street, I typically put it into 123 Main Street Trust. Phil will typically put it into Main Street Trust. But you can make the trust anything you want. You can make it my truck stop trust. It doesn't really matter, and you don't have to worry about fictitious names or anything. You don't have to do a search on it because it's not an LLC and it's not reported to anyone. So the nice thing about trust is the only people who know that you own the property is you, or you don't even own the property. You actually just control the property. Is you or anyone else that you know that you let know that trust exists. And I also recommend highly that if you put a property in trust, you let someone else know that trust exists, because if anything happens to you, no one even knows you owned it, which is really nice.
And one last question. Do you do that yourself, or do you hire someone to do it for you?
All right, so here's an interesting answer to that. So we have on our website, if you're a student, we have what's called sample trust agreements. Now, we say this all the time. They're samples because we're not lawyers and we can't tell you what to do or how to do it. You can go to a lawyer. A lawyer will typically charge you $2,500 to $3,000. But the sample trust agreement that we have on our website for our students, it's exactly the same trust that Phil and I use when we do our property. So all we do is there's blanks and we fill in the blank. Now we can't tell you that the trust is legal. We can't tell you because we're not lawyers. But we can tell you that it's the same exact trust that Phil and I use every time we buy a property or every time we transfer a property into a trust. Did that answer your question? What are you doing Thursday night?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'd like to come there.
Yeah, you should absolutely go to investorschooling.com. And you could sign up for a class, and we'll talk to you about that week. You know, if we're not talking about trust that night, make sure you grab Phil or I afterwards. Oh, Phil might not be there because he's still in pain, but
I'll be there.
Oh, you'll be okay, great. And so you can grab either one of us on Thursday night, and we'll talk to you about trust. We'll talk about how to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Look forward to meeting you Thursday night at 7 p.m.
All right, Mike. Thanks. Appreciate the call.
See you there.
All right. What was the next topic?
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man. Take care.
So why don't we talk a little bit about making 2022 the best year ever?
Well, it better be better than 2021, that's for sure, and 2020.
Well, I don't really gauge how you did in 2021, so I'm not sure.
I mean, I didn't have a bad year. Right? It just wasn't, I had a bad year in the stock market, but I had a great year as far as accumulating and accumulating assets, accumulating properties. However, what I meant by that, of course, I was joking about the whole coronavirus garbage. That's all.
Well, look, the stock options, I love the stock options. I'm anxious to get back into it. The reason I got out of it for a little while was I didn't like the direction of the way the market was going when Biden took over, and I was really sick and tired of hearing all about mandates and nothing that made sense to me. So I liquidated my account and I bought a mobile home park with the money. And one of the things that Larry always teaches people was when you make a little bit of money, you should do something productive with some of it. Okay?
Right. Take
Not-
money out.
Yeah, like go pay $50,000 off your mortgage, or buy an investment property that you can rent out that will produce cash flow for you and equity for you, and that's a positive thing. But if you just keep, and I know this firsthand, if you just keep your money in your account and go, okay, now I've got 300 grand, now I've got 350 grand, and you start thinking, well, I'm going to go all the way to $1 million, I can guarantee you that probably won't happen. Probably won't happen. Somewhere along the line, you're
You're
going
gonna
to
make a
lose
mistake,
100
right?
grand, and you know these things happen. So that was excellent advice, because I'm pretty happy with the mobile home park that I bought.
Yeah, it's great.
And I think we have our 7th property just got renovated and it's ready to go. We just got to find a tenant for it. And we should have that place maybe kicking off about 5 large to me and my 5 large to my business partner
That's great.
every month. We're almost there.
Wow.
We're almost there.
So the other thing that happens in investor schooling a lot is people partner up, which is really nice. Now, in this case, you just happen to partner up with a student, which was awesome too, because that happens to us quite often, that we'll partner up with students. Now, I just want to make sure that everybody understands we don't guarantee we're going to partner up with you. It has to be a really good deal, or you have to bring something to the table, and that would be happening. But it does happen. But we also have other students who partner up. We have a trio of students who have also bought 2 major mobile home parks. It was in Florida, or was it? No, it's in
Tennessee.
Tennessee, right, exactly. And they bought some major mobile home parks, and all 3 of them never even bought real estate. Actually, one of them did some renovations, did some flips before, but that was it. And now they have nice, well over $1.5 million.
You said a trio?
Yeah, it's 3 people. I'll tell you who they are later.
Oh, I thought you meant they bought 3 mobile home
Oh
parks.
no. There's 3 of them who partnered up and bought 2 mobile home parks,
Okay.
and these mobile home parks are worth well over $1.5 million. They're actually worth more than they paid for them within 6 months. They're worth a lot more than they paid for them. It's fantastic, watching these students succeed. Remember, that's what, and we talked about this before. That's why we do this. I mean, what am I going to do? Sit home and watch Dr. Phil all day long? Who wants to do that? So we do this, and we teach people how to do it, and we get excited about their success.
Is Dr. Phil still on TV?
I honestly don't even know, but I used to make the joke of watch Oprah, but she's obviously not on TV anymore.
I don't think he's on TV anymore. He's getting pretty old.
Is he? Okay. Well, I know Dr. Oz isn't on TV anymore because he's running for Senate, I think, in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, he's against mandates. So maybe I should run for Senate if I'm against mandates.
So do you have any specific plans for 2022?
So my specific plans for 2022. Well, first of all, we have a bunch of events coming up. I don't know. We can talk about that, but I don't know. I'm just trying to feel it out. I'd like to go on vacations again, because I didn't go on vacations for 2 years, because everywhere you go. I mean, how do you go to Disney World and have Mickey Mouse say, "Wear a mask or get the heck out"? I mean, I don't know how anybody can enjoy Disneyland. Same thing with a cruise. You're inside the cruise ship and you have to wear a mask. How could you enjoy yourself? So I didn't go on any trips. I didn't go on any cruises. I didn't go to Disneyland. I'd like to start doing that again, and I'm kind of hoping that President Braindead drops this mask mandate and he doesn't extend it once again and ruin my life again. But we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so. So my plans, I'm really talking investing plans here. I mean, my plan is to acquire more mobile home parks.
Yeah, I could see that, sure.
Or something, some kind of commercial piece of real estate. There was a hotel that came available in the area in Florida, which I live, which is in Sarasota, and I was very interested in it. But my wife and I are kind of focused on buying our forever home right now, so I got to do that first. So I have to buy my forever home, and then I have to buy the
I
next,
understand, sure.
piece of investment property.
And sometimes it's brain power. It's not just about money, because money can be an issue, but we can always find the money to buy properties. But sometimes you need the brain power to just concentrate on one thing that you're doing at a time. It happens.
Well, to me, if I could even just do one mobile home park a year, for example, maybe that's. I know I could do more than that. I'm just saying, even at that pace, I think I'd be pretty happy. Like
Sure.
just keep the machine moving, keep your income stream rising, keep your investments, because it takes a lot of work. I mean, even this one that I bought, it's been a decent amount of work. You know, luckily we got a good manager down there who I was just talking to before the show started.
That's great.
But without her, I don't know. We'd have to make several trips down there and find somebody else who can manage the place. But this woman's doing an amazing job.
Yeah, it's always good to find good people. By the way, if you want to call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. I'm Larry Steinhaus. I'm here with my business partner, Phil Falcone, and we are Investor Schooling, and you can go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a class this Thursday night. That's investorschooling.com. Sign up for a class this Thursday night and learn more, because I'm telling you, we just touched the surface of what we teach here on Investor Schooling Live. We only touch the surface of what we teach.
Yeah, we're not really even. We have a very vague script. We're just talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially, and between the two of us, how many years? I've been in the business 33 years.
I've been in business 40
years.
40 years.
Okay, so between the two of us, that's an awful lot of years.
Yeah, it's actually scary when I think about how long I've been doing this.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, people say, well, sometimes someone will say, well, how do you know all this stuff? I said, well, I've been doing it for 33 years. If I don't know the business inside and out by now, you know, then there's probably something wrong with me.
You know, I also find it interesting that you got these 24-year-old kids teaching real estate investing at these RIA groups. You know, they bought 2 properties. They go, oh, yeah, I'm a genius. Let me tell you how I do it. Dude, wait till you go through go through 2 recessions and you know, and your properties fail, and figure how you're going to figure that out. But that's right.
I actually know at least one speaker who doesn't even own any houses.
Yeah, I've heard that before too. They, you know, they tell you how to do it, but they don't own any.
And I'm sure there's multiple people.
Absolutely.
But this is an amazing business. Real estate, I absolutely love this business. I love it so much I wrote a book called Addicted to Real Estate, Why I Can't Stop and Why You Should Start. I mean, you have to learn this business if you want to build any wealth in your life. I mean, unless you're some kind of amazing stock market picker, which I doubt anybody really possesses that.
I'm not
skill.
amazing. I'm just good.
It's a difficult thing. It's an awful lot to know, and you
Sure.
have to learn how to do, you know, how to work the market. So it's an awful lot. Let's talk about this. I found this interesting list of the top 5 markets in landlord-friendly states in the United States.
Oh, this is a really great topic. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't always have to buy in your area. Like let's admit that I used to own, I think, 26 buildings in Philadelphia, and I got so fed up with Philadelphia and the way that they treated me and all the licenses that I needed. I needed a business privilege license. I needed a landlord license for every unit I owned. I needed a rental suitability license. I still don't even know what the hell that one is.
It's actually a certificate. but,
Okay,
yeah.
so I refused to just get it. I just refused to get it.
Right.
And then I found out there's a 4th license, which is the wholesaling license. you
Now,
need.
yes.
Right.
Now, yes.
Unbelievable. Just
Yeah.
insanity. And so you don't have to always invest just where you live. You can invest in other places. So according to a list that I found on the internet, and we all know anything you find on the internet is 100% accurate.
No, it's 100% censored.
Okay, whatever. So Knoxville, Tennessee was listed as the 5th best market to invest in. Atlanta, Georgia was the 4th. Huntsville, Alabama was listed. I don't know about that one. Number 2 was Jacksonville, Florida. I've been to Jacksonville a number of times. It's kind of like a pretty boring town. It has like a big downtown area with some tall buildings. The rest of it is just nothing. I mean, you know, Tampa, Florida was listed as the number 1 investment area,
Landlord friendly.
landlord friendly, in
That's
a
great.
landlord friendly state in the United States.
That's awesome.
And I gotta agree with that, but I'm investing an hour south of Tampa, which is where almost all of my properties are these days. So, to me, I'm probably not gonna invest in Tampa, but I could. But my mobile home park is slightly north of Tampa. Slightly north of Tampa. So I'm south of Tampa. I'm north of Tampa. But I'm not surprised that anybody would pick Tampa as the number one because there's just tons of construction going on there. Everywhere when you drive through there, all you see is all these cranes. They're building brand new houses all over the west coast of Florida, and that area is gonna explode in the next couple of years.
Now hold on a second. But you said these are landlord friendly. So what makes them landlord friendly?
Just because you've got freedom in
Okay,
Florida.
I got you.
Okay, you've got freedom. I didn't select the list. I just found it on
Yeah,
the
I was just
internet,
curious what the
right?
criteria was. Hey, by the way, we got Jose on the line. What's going on, Jose?
What's going on, my brothers? How y'all doing?
All right, man. We're excited to hear from you.
Good. I can't wait to see y'all soon, man. Need to get down there.
I recognize that voice, man. This is Jose, our student.
Roger that. But I got a couple questions. One real estate and one stock option.
Sure.
With the real estate, y'all were talking about trust. I believe that with the trust, you can have multiple beneficiaries. Could you have multiple trustees as well?
The answer is yes to both. So multiple beneficiaries is not
Right.
uncommon. Multiple trustees is very uncommon, and there could be an issue with that. So if you have multiple trustees and they
Okay.
all have equal power, that means now you have to get the consensus of all the trustees to make a decision. So it's better if you have one trustee that all the multiple beneficiaries agree that this person can make the decisions. Now, at the same time, they're making decisions based on what the beneficiaries want. But in the end, the trustee has all the power and makes it very easy. The other thing is, let's say you have multiple beneficiaries in different states, and you go to sell the property. And if they're all multiple trustees, now all these people have to sign the documents. Where the trustee can be the single person who
Right.
signs the document, and it makes it a lot easier to close, to buy, to take loans on the property, or whatever it is you have to do. So I don't recommend multiple trustees,
Okay.
but multiple beneficiaries, sure, anytime.
Yeah, I've only done it once.
Okay.
I only did it once, and
Okay.
the reason I did it was because it was with a new partner. He was a little bit nervous about it, so I just created a trust that had both of us as trustee. And, other
Okay.
than that, I didn't have to do it in the future.
So what was your other
Right.
question?
That makes sense of what y'all had. You said, and the other question is, what do y'all think of for stock option or as the actual stock for Nikola?
So I'm actually surprised that Nicola's down where it is. It's below 8, I think is where it was the last time I saw it. Let me just look it up real quick. I'm actually surprised at
I
this.
think it's 7.6, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So I actually bought the stock at right under 10, and I thought that was going to be a great play, and it's not proving to be a great play at all. It's actually 7.8 right now. So I'm surprised.
Roger.
Now I've seen Nikola bounce back before. They delivered trucks in I think it was November or December. They actually delivered some trucks, so that means that they're a real viable company now. So that's fantastic. But I don't know
Right.
I don't know why this stock is so beat up. It might just be that the market is bored with it, and they're waiting for something to happen.
Okay.
My prediction is it's going to go up, based on the fact that they'll produce more trucks, and we've got the whole infrastructure bill coming in, and everybody wants to go to alternate fuel sources, and they've got electric and they've got hydrogen. So, this could be one of those stocks that could be a lottery ticket, or it could just go broke. Or somebody buys the company, and then
Okay.
again, it could be not a lottery ticket, but it could be a pretty good investment. So at this price, I like it. I would say buy it. But just be prepared that the
Okay.
company could go bad. But again, I don't think so. I think this is a good company to own. In fact, at $7 or just under $8, I mean, you could buy a lot of it. and maybe sell covered calls on it
Right.
and make a couple of bucks on it week after week after week while you're waiting for it to go up.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Okay.
Jose, I got a
Okay.
question for you.
Yeah. Roger that, brother.
How do you like the Simmons-Harden trade?
Well, number one, of course, I'm just glad that Simmons is out of there, so you already know that. But then number two, I'm not going to say I'm very happy on Harden because I'm not sure due to just him being overweight and too much nightlife compared to being straight focused to win a championship. That's
Well, look,
that's
man,
probably my
we-
issue.
we
If he
had
gets
a
that
bum.
taken care of, I'm good.
We had Ben
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Bum, and now he's gone. And he was, at least we got somebody who can put the ball in the basket.
Welcome to Sports Talk
But there
Live.
you go. You know how I feel, and you know that it'll be different what I'll be talking to off the radio. But yeah, hey, my brothers, I know y'all gotta go, but hey, man, can't wait to see y'all soon, man. Maybe this Monday, next Monday, and I'll talk to y'all soon. God bless.
By the way, Jose, we had the producer sitting on the dump button for you because we know that this was the longest
have
you
to.
ever spoke without saying a 4-letter word. So thanks, man.
You have to. You have to. All right.
See you, man. Thanks. And if you guys want to call in, anybody else want to call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. All right, we got a couple of more minutes. Phil, you want to talk about anything before I get into stock options or stocks?
Why don't we get into this? What time are we even going out today? I didn't get.
Oh, I think it's that's a good question. I think it's probably going to be 9:45. I don't know, but that's fine. Hey, if you could let us know, Henry, let us know what time we're going. Just put it in the chat box. Let us know what time we're going out, so we are prepared. But I think it's 9:49. Usually is. 58:59.
58:59.
Okay, there you go. That's actually a pretty big range. That's a full minute range. Oh no. Yeah. Okay, we got. Okay, so
No, it's
yeah, right.
specifically
I know, it's
58:59. Right.
Sorry, I thought that was somewhere in between.
That gives you about 3 minutes.
Yeah, actually, you're right. It does. So let's get right into that. So right away. So first of all, here we go. We must play the theme music. Oh, where we go? It didn't work.
Stock options sorting.
That's fine. Do it.
Option Sultan.
Yeah, man. See, we didn't check the sound effects before we started. Okay, so anyway, so we got a couple of things going on. First of all, we of course hit the bond market hit 2% the other day. Yike! And when the bond market hit 2%, the market did exactly what I said it was. I actually said it would drop 300 points. It dropped 305 points, so I was dead on. However, on Friday, it started to recover just a little bit. It wasn't a great recovery, but it started to recover, and then all of a sudden, we got the thoughts of war once again. So this is funny because I got mixed messages on this war. One is from Biden saying, we're going to war any day now because I can't control myself and I don't know what to do. And then you get reports from Russia going, we're just doing our thing. Leave us alone. So who knows what it's going to be, but the market got spooked by it on Friday. Whether there's going to be a war or not, I don't know. But there's some good plays out there because of this. Now, I also want to warn you that we are now in mid-February. So usually from February to the end of the month, we have a little bit of problems. So just be aware of that. But you know what, real quick, I want to grab Steve, who's on the line. What's going on, Steve?
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion or whatever you think about. I've been seeing ads on TV for some real estate investment company. I think it's NRIA, where they're advertising
sure. I know
something
what they
like
are.
10%.
Yeah.
What? So you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So Phil and I actually
So
were...
what?
Yeah, so we create funds too. So NRIA it's a fund. It's just basically a fund, and you would invest in the fund, and these people are buying real estate with your money, and they give you a percentage of that money. So when they say 10%, just understand, really listen to the words, because what they're saying a projected return of 10%, which is fine. I mean, you may get it, you may not get it, but there is risk involved.
No. There was something about 10%, but projected was 21% total projected or something like that.
Yeah,
Which I didn't understand what that meant.
Yeah, I would call them, and they'll be able to give their exact disclaimer. But I know how it works because we do it too.
Yeah.
So, but we just don't advertise our funds. So they're looking for accredited investors. You have to be an accredited investor because they're advertising, and you know it's fine. I don't know if they're a good company or not. You'll have to do your research. But real quick, I need to get to some stock quotes. Hopefully, we'll see. If you want to come to Investor Schooling on Thursday, we could talk more about it. But we appreciate the call, man.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. Okay, so Facebook, good play right now. Below 220. I actually made 220 to 230 the other day. Now, you think that was a little bit of money, but in a stock option, that was a lot of money. I made 35% in one day on that play. That was a fantastic play. It's back below 220. I like it. I'm also looking for it to go below 200 again, but 220 is a good place to enter. And then if it happens to go below 220 again, I would get in there. Facebook should not be this beaten up. It doesn't make any sense. When I compared their earnings to Twitter, I actually thought that was exactly the same, and Twitter actually went up, at least momentarily, after their earnings report. So I don't know. I mean, Meta's just losing money. Facebook is now called Meta. They're only losing money because the ridiculousness of the metaverse. All right, Apple's also a good play. I also think probably the best play is Google right now. This is what I want you to do. I want you to buy 5 shares of Google. Just buy 5 shares of Google. At the current price, it'll cost you about $13,000, and hold on to it. Wait for July. It's going to split 20-1, which is phenomenal, and then you'll have 100 shares. And if you have 100 shares, you're going to then be able to sell covered calls on it, and you'll be able to make money on that. And if you come to Investor Schooling this week, we'll talk to you a little bit more about how to do that. Phil, why don't you take us out?
Okay, so if you're shy and you don't want to call the show, you can always email your questions to us at info@investorschooling.com. You can also call our number that we give out on the radio show. That's 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. You can call that number, and you could reach one of us on that phone number. So that's something you can always do. We want to thank our producer in-house and our producer at 12:10 a.m. And if you're ready to visit,
I think we're out of here, man.
yeah, okay.
We're out of here. Take care.
Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out.
Good show, guys.
Text and whatever, just don't text and drive. Visit stoptextsstopwrecks.org. A message